Thanks a lot, guys. Here we are. It's game number 3. It's do or die time for Grubby. The map is Cloud Kingdom, and we've already seen him make some amazing comebacks on this map.
It's true. It's true. If you can hold a peg to anybody else in this map, it is Grubby. He does pretty darn well on it. Guys, loading up and getting good to go. Sting is 1 win away from claiming his first ever major championship in StarCraft 2. So let's jump right on into the game. We do have Mr. Sting and Grubby here facing off against one another. Game number 3. Western Wolves versus Team Grubby, we'll go with. So we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner here as our blue Protoss. He goes by the name of Grubby. You can follow him at @followgrubby on Twitter. And spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner here as our red Terran. Performing so well in these past 2 games. It's fantastic for him. Let's give it up, guys, for Western Wolves Sting, who unfortunately doesn't have a Twitter, but I'm under the impression he will do after this tournament.
I think it's about time for it.
Yes.
All right, man. I mean, this is it for Grubby. He has to make something work, and he has to make it work now. Sting has just done such a great job with his build orders.
Yeah.
He truly has.
Yeah.
He's tricked Grubby in certain ways in each game. His control has been phenomenal. His macro has been on key. His micro has been fantastic.
Yeah.
What does Grubby do here on this map against him?
I think he plays defensively. Why? Because I think Sting plays offensively.
Yes, I agree.
Sting 2 games up. I think he's gonna fall back onto his standard rhetoric. He's gonna get very, very aggressive here. He's 2 games up. He has games in hand. Why not go for something to crush your opponent now here outright?
Sure. You know what? I feel like this map is the ultimate long game map for Protoss versus Terran anyways.
Yes.
This is the map where you can eventually hold all 3 bases easily because they are on the top of ramps. And, you know, as you're taking a 4th base and your opponent is as well, Warp Prism Harassment, Side Storm drops, stuff like this becomes just unbelievably good here. So definitely a map I want to see Grubby play a long game on, as opposed to mixing in, you know, he is a player that will mix in cheeses, absolutely. He randomizes his play very well, but is this the map for it? I say hold on a little bit later. Yeah,
I would agree with you there. I would agree. Grubby has to bring out the build here that he feels most comfortable with in order to keep him in the tournament, in order to keep him in the final. This determines 1st and 2nd place. First is pretty darn nice, and I mean Sting here going for the command center behind this. Just the wall-in that Sting has done itself is putting in Grubby the fear. It's putting him in the mind of, well, you know, I also think maybe you're 2 games up. Maybe you will go for some aggression.
Yeah, and right now Grubby, this is kind of funny the way he's playing this. Notice he has 3 probes in each gas. He's getting out his Stalker. I wonder if he's going for like maybe one of Rain's DT builds, DT expand, something like that. But he's scouted that pylon in the corner, and that pylon is like where you hide tech a lot of times on this map.
It's so indicative of that kind of play, and it's so important now that, you know, we wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Sting drops a scan over there eventually in like a few minutes. And look, with the Twilight Council going down now, you've got to assume that Sting has some kind of indication with that pylon what's going on.
This could be a blink all-in too, something like that as well. And against a quick command center into 2 gases and 1 more racks, that could work out.
Yeah, it could. It could.
Oh, and that is what it is. It's a blink build.
Yeah, getting those 3 gates. Although that being said, he does have a lot of gas saved up. I mean, yeah, you need all that gas right anyway for Blink, as well as extra Stalkers to keep recuperating. I always just get scared whenever I see this much gas and there's Twilight Council going down. But there you go. There's the Blink on the way.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a funny time for 2 more gates if you're going DTs, I tell you. All right. So, I mean, Grubby's going to have to micro his heart out, but we all know that that's something that he absolutely can do. And, in fact, even getting the Robo, so he's going to have an Observer as well. Now, as far as what Sting is going for, oh my God, that's a good scan, isn't it?
Oh.
Oh, how money is that scan?
This is exactly what...
Oh, actually, you know what?
It's not too money.
Do you know what? What he just saw? This could be an expansion that he saw.
He thinks there's a Nexus going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't see the Twilight, just barely not. And seeing 3 gates plus a Robo, Well, that's what you get after you expand anyways.
Yeah, you're dead on here. So it's going to be interesting to see what Sting actually does from here. Does he get aggressive, thinking that there's an expansion down? Does he over-anticipate that kind of play, and as such moves that into a position where his army could be very vulnerable, or his base could be vulnerable to exploitation?
Well, we will see about this now. Grubby, oh, you can't lose that Stalker. Ooh, once again.
Good God.
It's at 2, it's at 8 this time, not 2. Okay, so a little bit extra, 1 extra shot that he saved it from there. But yeah, you can't lose these early Stalkers. They are everything. In fact, these Marines, will they find this pylon? That would so tell him what's going on.
Oh, he does. He finds the pylon here. Sting is just on top of absolutely everything right now. That's really going to tip him off as to what's actually going on.
But those Marines are now trapped. The Stalker's going to go down and eliminate them.
That is very, very nice indeed as well. Does he have Blink? It's finished, so now he can be so defensively minded with these Stalkers whilst killing all of them off. He kills another pylon, good cancellation. He's trying to hunt down that probe, but at the same time, nice Blink back there from Grubby with 1. We will kill off all of these Marines so cost effectively, and off the back of this, Sting is trying to rush up to Siege Tanks and Siege Tech to try and hold off against this aggression.
Well, it's a good choice because Siege Tanks are so good against Stalkers, but that is a lot of Marines with it. Will Grubby be able to actually micro against this army? It's got such range and such firepower.
Yeah, he's actually blinking back once again, and unlike Antigua Shipyard, he does not have the ability to sandwich those Stalkers in there, so Grubby is going to keep dancing around. The one thing that Sting needs to do right now is get rid of that Observer at all costs, because if he doesn't, then he's going to continue to do that dance.
Well, Grubby is continuing to make Stalkers, continuing to try to harass a little bit here. But this army of Sting, very strong indeed. That Observer moving over, and he tries to grab it. A huge Stalker blink in here, and Grubby's starting to do a lot of damage.
His units are kind of coming in staggered there. He's going to blink a little portion of this back, but actually he's nowhere near the cliff. He can't really retreat with a few of those Stalkers. They're going to die off.
The blink cooldown took a while. He did some damage, but he actually lost a lot of Stalkers there. Luckily, he is making a Nexus behind, but oh my God, that was a brave blink up.
He takes down the 2 Siege Tanks. Really, really well done. He separates all the Stalkers as well. He doesn't want to lose anything else. Can he blink them out? He gets them out. Oh, my heart. What the? That was Panic City.
Indeed, but, you know, behind this, Grubby doesn't have many probes. He's sitting at 27 probes right now. He's teching up to Colossus. His entire army are these Stalkers. How much damage can he really deal against a Terran who has a lot of units still? I mean, this army beats the Stalkers heads up every single time.
He's getting that Robo Bay as well. He's trying to transition on. He starts that pro production again. And actually, he catches a few units isolated here as well. And that's pretty nice here, but he needs to be very careful about that Siege Tank splash. That one Zealot is actually soaking up the damage. Gets 1 volley off on the Stalkers.
And you know what? He's stalling out this expand a lot. Yeah. Grubby is really being good with these Stalkers right now. I mean, oh my God, look at this. A Zealot Orphan at the same time. He's blinking out, and how much damage can those Zealots actually end up doing? Going after these SCVs, but don't forget, these are units that are going to die no matter what, so he has to get some sort of value out of them.
Yeah, he's going to try and go for the workers in maybe the mineral line, or they actually get some...
a blink in to grab that Siege Tank at the same time. Grubby keeping Sting's supply down enough that he still has a shot here.
He's going to try and blink up once again here, trying to focus down that Marauder. Actually, there's not that many units here in the main base. The Marines and Marauders are actually trying to take down the pylon, and they're being forced to pull back because there's actually nothing here for Sting to try and hold this off. He's microing as best he can do, killing off even more workers. 22 have gone down right now. For the first time, he's actually closing up this supply gap quite nicely in terms of the worker count.
Am I actually watching this right now? He's playing against Siege Tanks, Marauders, and Marines in siege mode, and he's just blinking around and somehow killing off Sting right now. Sting he's down in SCVs, 30 against 33. Somehow Grubby has gained a lead out of this.
And he actually warped in some more here as well, so he's going to blink out. He finally kills the Observer, and Sting here can restore some sense of normality in his main, but not necessarily in his natural.
Yeah, well, he's going to go down that ramp and try to stop this, but...
That poor SCV, man.
He was kind of owned, but at least he saw Colossus, right? I mean, that's pretty valuable. Now, Grubby has a good amount of Stalkers. I feel like he needs to stop Stalkers immediately. In fact, Sting's going for an attack right now. He has Stim. He's bringing his SCVs. This is deadly. I don't know if Grubby can stop this. And in fact, will he try to, or will he go for a base trade?
I think Grubby needs to continue the chase, right, and start picking away at them.
No, he needs to go up the ramp with the Stalkers, kill the main base, and warp in sentries, because there's no way right now for Sting to get up that ramp.
Yeah, he does. And actually, that being said, does he have any probe out on the map as well? If he brought one to actually throw some buildings down.
He does. He does.
Yeah, and there you go. GG. GG! Grubby, after that... That was insane. That Blink build gets shut down by Marauders and tanks. We should send it over to the analysis, guys.
Oh my god. Yes, I guess we should, because my brain is in a puddle at the bottom of my skull.
Test. All right, guys, it looks like that. Wow, that was just such an amazing game. Grubby, so unbelievable. I mean, that observer and that force field at the end as well, guys, that was absolutely brilliant. But I want to talk a little bit about the map, actually. Blisk brought up something really interesting here. You, of course, played Lucifron earlier on in the tournament, and every time you played him, he always vetoed Cloud Kingdom. Be interesting to hear your thoughts on that map, PVT.
Yeah, I did talk to Lucifron after the games and asked why. He said that Cloud Kingdom is very hard for a Terran to fight against Storm and Colossus, and I agree with it. It's really easy to position your army better, and the map in general is just really easy to move around with Storm and Colossus. The positioning is much easier to get into for Protoss.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting on this map as well. I mean, we used the architecture of the map really well. Let's hop into the game now. Let's take a look at the replay. We're moving up to a point where Grubby was actually blinking in and out of the main base constantly. Pig, talk us through what's happening here.
This was just, Grubby was in such a hard position. He was down something like 20 supply. There were tanks coming out. There was 3 siege tanks at one point. His Stalker count is quite low. He is expanding behind this, but he looks like to be in such a hard position. But this is the pivotal moment where he blinks right on top of those siege tanks. I mean, that was such a split-second decision. I can't believe the decision-making and the split-second decision-making that Grubby had there. Following that up, he quickly maneuvered down to the natural, and I believe the point which sealed the deal was when, while pulling the army onto the low ground, he placed another pylon up here, and soon he did do a Zealot warp into that main base. The Stalkers once again harassing that natural expansion, and we do see these Zealots, which ended up being a massive damage dealer, and basically sealing the deal.
An excellently played game there from Grubby. Guys, we're going to be getting into the next game now. Can Grubby pull off the comeback like he did in the semifinal? We'll find out. Artosis and Kalaris bringing you the action.